In Greek mythology, Cerberus, /Srbrs/2 Greek, Kappa Beta Epsilon Rho Omicron Cerberus, often referred to as the Hound of Hades, is a multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. He was the offspring of the monsters Echidna and Typhon, and was usually described as having 3 heads, a serpent for a tail, and snakes protruding from multiple parts of his body. Cerberus is primarily known for his capture by Heracles, the last of Heracles' 12 labors. In Greek mythology, Cerberus, /Srbrs/2 Greek, Kappa Beta Epsilon Rho Omicron Cerberus, often referred to as the Hound of Hades, is a multi-headed dog that guards the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. He was the offspring of the monsters Echidna and Typhon, and was usually described as having 3 heads, a serpent for a tail, and snakes protruding from multiple parts of his body. Cerberus is primarily known for his capture by Heracles, the last of Heracles' 12 labors. Descriptions of Cerberus vary, including the number of his heads. Cerberus was usually 3-headed, though not always. Cerberus had several multi-headed relatives. His father was the multi-snake-headed Typhon 11, and Cerberus was the brother of 3 other multi-headed monsters, the multi-snake-headed Lernaean Hydra, Orthrus, the 2-headed dog who guarded the cattle of Geryon, and the Chimera, who had 3 heads, that of a lion, a goat, and a snake. 12 and, like these close relatives, Cerberus was, with only the rare iconographic exception, multi-headed. In the earliest description of Cerberus, Hesiod's Theogony, c. 8th-7th century BC, Cerberus has 50 heads, while Pindar, c. 522 c. 443 BC, gave him 100 heads. 13 However, later writers almost universally give Cerberus 3 heads. 14 An exception is the Latin poet Horace's Cerberus, which has a single dog head, and 100 snake heads. 15 Perhaps trying to reconcile these competing traditions, Apollodorus's Cerberus has 3 dog heads and the heads of all sorts of snakes along his back, while the Byzantine poet John Tzetzes, who probably based his account on Apollodorus, gives Cerberus 50 heads, 3 of which were dog heads, the rest being the heads of other beasts of all sorts. In art, Cerberus is most commonly depicted with 2 dog heads, visible, never more than 3, but occasionally with only 1. 18 On one of the 2 earliest depictions, c. 595-80 BC, a Corinthian cup from Argos, see below, now lost, Cerberus was shown as a normal single-headed dog. 19 The first appearance of a 3-headed Cerberus occurs on a mid-6th century BC Laconian cup, see below. 20 Horace's many snake-headed Cerberus followed a long tradition of Cerberus being part snake. This is perhaps already implied as early as in Hesiod's Theogony, where Cerberus' mother is the half-snake Echidna, and his father the snake-headed Typhon. In art, Cerberus is often shown as being part snake. 21 For example, the lost Corinthian cup showed snakes protruding from Cerberus' body, while the mid-6th century BC Laconian cup gives Cerberus a snake for a tail. In the literary record, the first certain indication of Cerberus' serpentine nature comes from the rationalized account of Hecataeus of Miletus, Fluid 504-94 BC, who makes Cerberus a large poisonous snake. 22 Plato refers to Cerberus' composite nature. 23 And Euphorion of Chalcis, 3rd century BC, describes Cerberus as having multiple snake tails. 24 And presumably in connection to his serpentine nature, associates Cerberus with the creation of the poisonous aconite plant. 25 Virgil has snakes writhe around Cerberus' neck. 26 Ovid's Cerberus has a venomous mouth. 27 Necks vile with snakes. 28 And hair inwoven with the threatening snake. 29 While Seneca gives Cerberus a mane consisting of snakes, and a single snake tail. 30 Cerberus was given various other traits. According to Euripides, Cerberus not only had 3 heads but 3 bodies. 31 And according to Virgil he had multiple backs. 32 Cerberus ate raw flesh, according to Hesiod, 33 had eyes which flashed fire, according to Euphorion, a 3-tongued mouth, according to Horace, and acute hearing, according to Seneca. The 12th labor of Heracles. Cerberus only mythology concerns his capture by Heracles. 36 As early as Homer we learn that Heracles was sent by Eurystheus, the king of Tyrans, to bring back Cerberus from Hades, the king of the underworld. 37 According to Apollodorus, this was the 12th and final labor imposed on Heracles. 38 In a fragment from a lost play Pirithous, attributed to either Euripides or Critias, Heracles says that, although Eurystheus commanded him to bring back Cerberus, it was not from any desire to see Cerberus, but only because Eurystheus thought that the task was impossible. 39. Heracles was aided in his mission by his being an initiate of the Eleusinian mysteries. Euripides has his initiation being lucky for Heracles in capturing Cerberus. 40 And both Diodorus Siculus and Apollodorus say that Heracles was initiated into the mysteries, in preparation for his descent into the underworld. According to Diodorus, Heracles went to Athens, where Musaeus, the son of Orpheus, was in charge of the initiation rites. 41 While according to Apollodorus, he went to Eumolpus at Eleusis. 42. Heracles also had the help of Hermes, the usual guide of the underworld, as well as Athena. In the Odyssey, Homer has Hermes and Athena as his guides. 43 And Hermes and Athena are often shown with Heracles on vase paintings depicting Cerberus' capture. By most accounts, Heracles made his descent into the underworld through an entrance at Tenaron, the most famous of the various Greek entrances to the underworld. 44 The place is first mentioned in connection with the Cerberus story in the rationalized account of Hecataeus of Miletus, Fluid 504-94 BC, and Euripides, Seneca, and Apollodorus, all have Heracles descend into the underworld there. 45 However, Xenophon reports that Heracles was said to have descended at the Acracean Chersonese near Heraclea Pontica, on the Black Sea, a place more usually associated with Heracles' exit from the underworld, see below. 46 Heraclea, founded c. 560 BC, perhaps took its name from the association of its site with Heracles' Cerberian exploit. Theseus and Pirithous. While in the underworld, Heracles met the heroes Theseus and Pirithous, where the two companions were being held prisoner by Hades for attempting to carry off Hades' wife Persephone. Along with bringing back Cerberus, Heracles also managed, usually, to rescue Theseus, and in some versions Pirithous as well. 48 According to Apollodorus, Heracles found Theseus and Pirithous near the gates of Hades, bound to the chair of forgetfulness, to which they grew and were held fast by coils of serpents, and when they saw Heracles, they stretched out their hands as if they should be raised from the dead by his might, and Heracles was able to free Theseus, but when he tried to raise up Pirithous, the earth quaked and he let go. 49. The earliest evidence for the involvement of Theseus and Pirithous in the Cerberus story, is found on a shield band relief, c. 560 BC,